Have you ever felt stuck in your drawing journey? In this video, we will discuss effective strategies on how to stay motivated in your drawing journey. So whether you are a beginner or a seasoned artist, doesn't matter. Maintaining motivation is crucial for growth and development. Anywhere from setting achievable goals to finding inspiration from other artists, we will cover practical tips to help you stay on track and continue pursuing your passion of art. And it really doesn't matter if you want to take it to a full-time job, if you want to keep it as a hobby. I believe these strategies will help anybody if they're stuck. So make sure to watch to the end for valuable insights and motivation just to keep creating. All right. So have you ever felt stuck in your drawing journey, like you are just not making progress? And the passion you once had is slowly dwindling away. It's a feeling that can be really frustrating, and it's something that I think a lot of artists can relate to. I know I can. There have been times over the years, decades, when I do feel like that. There have been times over the years, decades even, where I did feel like that. Staying motivated is crucial when it comes to making progress in art and drawing. Without motivation, it's easy to fall into a slump. And before you know it, weeks turn into months, and months turn into years. And if you're not careful, you might find yourself giving up on your dreams of becoming a better artist. I know that staying motivated can be tough, especially when it feels like you're not getting any better. But believe me, it is worth it. Becoming an artist, whether or not you paint, sculpt, draw, doesn't matter. You got to put in the mileage. You're not going to be better tomorrow if you think you're horrible today. I probably didn't word that correctly. let me word that better. If you want to get better quickly, it's not just going to happen overnight. The thing is, one of the biggest challenges that artists face is artist block, and I talked about this in a previous video. So, if you can, please check the previous video. I'll link it up at the end so you can click on it. You know, that feeling when you just can't seem to come up with any new ideas, and everything you try to draw looks like a mess. It's frustrating, and it can be really demotivating. Another challenge is self-doubt. We have all experienced that. It doesn't matter what your profession is. There might be people listening to this right now that have no desire to draw, but the same feelings might come up. You know, self-doubt destroys anybody's confidence. You start wondering if you're even good enough, if your art is worth sharing, if it's going to get likes, and if anybody will even care about what you're creating at all. You might feel like you're in this dark void and nobody's paying attention to you. It's a tough feeling to overcome, but it's not impossible. And there's comparison to others. Okay, you start looking at other artists' work and you feel like or you feel like you're just not measuring up. You start to compare your behind the scenes to everyone else and their highlight reels, and it can be really discouraging. This is why I feel art and social media, you have to be really careful because social media can destroy you as an artist. There's a false sense of validation going around, especially online. And before the internet was really what it is now, and all the websites and the tutorials and the portfolio sites, we would draw without having to work or worry about posting it online so that other people can see it, because you never know who's going to see it. Before, you would just take a sketchbook out. You don't have to worry about a computer, a scanner, and just draw. Just mountains of paper and scribbles and doodles, drawing on your homework at school, like all that. And then as soon as social media came and the like button, that changed everything. But the thing is, all of these challenges are normal. It's almost like a rite of passage to see if you can get through it. Every artist faces them at some point or another. And the key to overcoming them is to stay motivated. So how do you do that? Well, one thing that helps me is setting goals for myself. That's always helped me. Whether it was setting a goal to draw every day for a certain amount of time, which I advocate for heavily, or setting a goal to finish a certain number of pieces within a certain time frame. Having goals helps me stay focused and motivated. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate. It's not just with art too. Like I said before, if you're just tuning into my channel for the first time, you have no idea who I am. I'm a senior concept artist for games and film. I've been in the industry for a decade. I basically draw characters, creatures, and environments, and especially creatures, and it's scary. I draw scary stuff, but the industry is also scary. And hopefully you can resonate with this a little bit. Okay, where was I? Another thing that helps is trying new techniques and mediums. When you're doing the same thing over and over again, it can get quite boring. And boredom can lead to a lack of motivation. But when you're trying new things, you're challenging yourself, and that can be really exciting. Trying new things is a little bit scary. It's like going to a restaurant that you've frequented for a long time and suddenly picking something new on the menu because you're afraid it's going to not taste good. Or if you're a dude, hey, all the guys out there, you know what it feels like eating the club sandwiches at restaurants. I always joke to people that whenever I go to a new restaurant, I always try the club sandwich out first because if they screw up the club sandwich, they can't make anything else. That's just, it's just me. But anyway, I remember when I first started drawing, I was so motivated to improve that I would spend hours every day practicing. It didn't matter if it was raining, if it was sunny outside, warm, cold. My friends wanted to go play. Of course, I got outside and played, but I loved art. I would watch at the time, growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was mostly movies at the time, like cartoons and movies. I would watch all of the horror movies. And now, with the newer generation coming up, you might be watching YouTube tutorials. Reading books is timeless, and I encourage all of the aspiring artists and novice artists and also experienced artists that are listening to have your own collection of concept art books, and novels like science fiction, mystery, anything that will help you in the niche or the genre that you like drawing in. And just experiment with different techniques. And you know what? It pays off. When I started doing all this stuff, I started to see improvement, and that improvement motivated me to keep going. It's not just, motivation does come with people looking over your shoulder when you're drawing and go, hey, that looks awesome. You get that dopamine rush of somebody else liking your stuff. That's why social media can be toxic, because you're getting this dopamine rush of dozens and hundreds, even thousands of likes, but you still doubt it. You either got imposter syndrome or something just doesn't feel right. But it motivates you to keep going, and seeing improvement in my work definitely motivated me to keep going. But then as time went on, I started to feel like I plateaued. I wasn't improving as quickly as I wanted, and that feeling of frustration started to set in. But I didn't give up. I kept pushing forward. I was obsessed with drawing. And if you listening out there you really want to be good, you have to keep pushing forward. So I started to set new goals for myself. I started experimenting with new mediums, and I started to focus on telling stories through my art. Just evoking some kind of awe to it, a feeling that you would get when you would look at my art. If it gave me a feeling, then most likely it would give somebody else a feeling. And 90% of my stuff borders on the horror side and the scary, creepy side, and that is a feeling. We all love going and seeing horror/creepy movies, sci-fi horror, all that. And you know what? It worked. I started to feel more motivated, and my passion for drawing was finally rekindled. Now, I would say I've always had a passion for drawing. It's just we all hit those ruts. And it gets to the point where, and I mentioned this in a previous lesson too, about finding your own style. It it seems like a daunting task in finding your own style. There's a difference between searching for your own style and finding your own style. All right. But again, I encourage you to watch that video too. But as far as staying motivated, think about all those times that you wanted to draw, but you didn't open your sketchbook. It was right in front of you, but you just didn't feel like drawing. So you got to ask yourself why that was. Now we all have those moments. We got a headache. We're feeling kind of sluggish during the day. I know this is going to sound kind of, how should I put, like corny, but you are what you eat. And if you don't maintain a good diet, that actually does reflect on your working habits. And the thing is, the better you eat, the better you take care of yourself, the better you feel. And the better you feel, the more motivated you get. You can kind of see the snowball effect here. I remember watching the movie Limitless. It's one of my favorite movies with Bradley Cooper. And when he started taking that insane drug that made him instantly smart and his IQ jump up, and he got that surge of motivation in the movie, and he suddenly just wrote his book in one afternoon, and it became an instant bestseller. I love that movie, and you sit back and you're like, well, there's no easy button like those commercials that used to be on TV, and there's no magic pill that will just make you suddenly motivated and smarter, but you can definitely help yourself. Another thing that I stress to a lot of aspiring artists that are trying to get in this or trying to break through in this industry is reference. Just collect a lot of reference, because a lot of times when you draw, you're not motivated because you don't know what to draw. Well, part of the reason is because you haven't studied enough things. There's something to be said about collecting reference that's really going to help you. All right, so staying motivated in your drawing journey is all about perseverance and self-belief. It's about pushing forward even when it gets tough, and believing in yourself even when you don't feel like you're good enough. It's about setting goals, trying new things, seeking inspiration, and celebrating your successes. Because let's face it, if you put your sketchbook down today, not down as in you're quitting, but just put it on the desk and you start drawing, you draw for 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes more experience in drawing, and closer you're getting to your dream and your destination, or wherever you want to go with your art. So I want to talk about some exercises that I want all of you to do that will help you in your journey to stay more motivated. Okay. I want all of you right now to take out a piece of notebook paper, or just write in your sketchbook, whichever you want to do. We're not drawing right now. We're actually writing. Okay. Write this down. Short-term goals. And when I say short-term, 6 months. Just say 6 months from now, write down your short-term goals of what you want to have achieved if you started drawing right now. And then when you look at your work in 6 months, you can see a definite improvement. It doesn't have to be drastic. I'm not asking you to become Leonardo da Vinci in 6 months. I'm just saying you have to at least start climbing the hill a little bit. Okay. Step number 2, I want you to write down your long-term goals. Now, long-term to me means 2 to 3 years plus. Okay. If you want to get ambitious and say, okay, 5 years, which is like every person hears that during an interview. The interviewer is like, what do you see yourself in 5 years? But seriously, where do you see yourself in 5 years? 10 years even? Are you an art director? Are you a full-time freelancer? Are you working in-house somewhere? Or if you have a career right now, but you love drawing as a hobby, do you want to become still a master at your craft? Okay, step number 3. I want you to be honest with yourself. No sugarcoating, no lying. Be honest with yourself and write down your vices. What is holding you back? And if you're not honest with yourself, then you're not gonna be able to help yourself break through your rut, or your ambitions and your motivation are going to stay where they are unless you are honest with yourself. It's like going to a therapist and lying to your therapist. The therapist is there to help you. Okay, so your notebook is there to help you right now. Sometimes, well, actually a lot of times, seeing your problems in writing actually, it holds yourself accountable. Okay, so if you feel like you're just not getting better at your artwork and you're drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing, you're not seeing improvement, there's a reason. There's a reason you're not being honest with yourself, or you're too stubborn and you're not taking that next step. It's okay. You can write down, I'm just scared, or I'm lazy, or my parents are telling me not to pursue art and I'm battling my demons in my head. I got an angel on my right shoulder, a demon on my left shoulder, and they keep telling me different things. Okay, so after you're honest with yourself, number 3, the 4th thing I want you to write down in your sketchbook or on a piece of notebook paper is, what are your strengths within your drawing ability, within your art? So those of you listening that don't draw, but you do other stuff like crafts or whatever, write that down. Write down what you're really good at. Okay. And when you see this, when you see what you need to get better at, and then you see what you're good at, that will also help motivate you because you know you've already accomplished something. Maybe it's maybe you can't quite see your own potential and your own skills. What is something that your friends, your family, your art teachers, your professors, in college, if you're in college, what do they keep telling you that you're actually doing well within your artwork? And if multiple people keep telling you the same thing, there probably is something to that. Okay, so write that down. It could be multiple things too. So you'd be like, you know what? I'm really good at shading. Or you know what? I can draw people better than anybody I know. Or I'm really good at drawing cute, fuzzy things. Great. Or I'm really good at drawing horrific, creepy, hairy alien bugs. That's totally cool too. That's a skill. All right, so we have your short-term goals, we have your long-term goals, we have your vices, and now we have your strengths. Okay. The 5th thing that I want you to write down is what you're going to do about it. What are you going to do? And this is where setting a schedule comes in. I want you to set yourself a schedule. But here's the thing. We all do this. We may have set our schedules in the past, whether it's on the phone, and we have like an app on the phone and we put our schedules in, or we have, I don't know, some kind of magnet on the refrigerator where we write down our to-do list. That's good. But I want this to be different. So whatever you're writing down, this is why I wanted it in your sketchbooks, because I always think that sketchbooks are diaries. Okay, it's nobody's business what's in there unless you deliberately show them. But I want you to write down your goals, or not goals, I'm sorry, what you're going to do. Okay, and this kind of ties into your short and long-term goals. So look back on those goals and then form an outline. Now you can break this outline up into increments, like days. You can break it up into months. Be like, okay, so now it's the end of July, approaching August. This is what I'm going to do for week 1 of August, week 2 of August, week 3 of August, and go to November or December. Okay, give yourself that end goal of when you want to achieve stuff. Okay, so the short-term goal was 6 months. Okay, now, I mean, you could do 6 months from now, which is January. Okay, so between now and January, you can break that up into increments and give yourself an outline. This is what I'm going to do on Mondays and Wednesdays each week of the month. And then give yourself a time frame that you have that you can draw or paint or whatever art that you're doing, sculpting. And I understand. I mean, work-life balance is tough sometimes, especially those of you working hard jobs, like labor-intensive jobs where you're outside all day, you're doing lawn care, you're doing steel work, you're lifting a lot of stuff. You come home, you're exhausted, you maybe have a 3-hour window to kick back, drink whatever you want to drink. I totally get that. But give yourself that time slot where, and be fair to yourself too, where you have that little window. And I know it's hard because those of you that have lives with families, you have children, and you want to make sure you spend time with your entire family. That's hard too, especially when you're exhausted at the end of the day and you just want to crash on the couch. Okay. I remember listening to Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, has been around forever. And when he was in his younger years, he always said that his time slot after getting home from his full-time job, I think he was a graphic designer. Those of you that know Tony Robbins, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was a graphic designer. But then he would work on his side hustle, like his business, from about 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So he had that window. That was his window. So maybe your window, you get home at 7 p.m. and you're in bed by like 11. Okay, so you have those hours in between 7 and 11 to shower, eat, relax a little bit, play with your family before they go to bed. Spend time with your family. Family comes first. And then you can start working on your artwork. I know it's hard because it's hard when you're tired and you're doing this stuff. Trust me, it's really hard. Like the last thing that you want is to consume caffeine in the evening because you have something to do. I did that. I mean, when I was younger, I did it. I can get away with it, And in school, when I was in industrial design, we would come back to the studio. I do want to take the time, aside from the lesson, to say something very important, something that means a lot to me. I reached 100,000 subscribers today, and I can't believe it. It's very surreal. Those of you that have followed me for this past year, and some of you have even been following me since 2013 or 14 when my original channel was up, but I didn't really post a lot. So those of you that have been subscribing to me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is crazy to see. And I'm just happy that I can reach as many people as I have when it comes to teaching about drawing and about just motivation and getting better, not feeling down about yourself. Thank you very much. Stop by the school and bring in just like 2 cases of Red Bull for us. And we're just like, oh man. No, I didn't drink it nearly as much as some of my other friends did, but it was just funny seeing all the cans in there. But anyway, it kept us awake. And so whatever keeps you awake, this is why I encourage all of you right now to just eat better. And this does tie into being a better artist, because if you eat better, you take care of yourself, it comes through. It really comes through. You don't slouch as much. Okay, sit up straight. Work out too. Go to the gym. Correct those back muscles. Exercise. Get up every 20 minutes. Stretch your legs out. Okay, get the blood flowing back to your feet if you've been sitting there forever. And then when you start doing all of this stuff, you're going to notice a huge change in your motivation to keep doing it once you start seeing results. This is why staying motivated, becoming an artist, is so important. Okay, when you're watching YouTube videos, when you're reading drawing books, experimenting with new and different techniques, it's going to pay off, even if some of those might not work. Okay, like sometimes you'll collect a lot of tutorials, but hardly watch any of them, but you become better at art through another means. Some people can become better at art by reading books because that's how they pick it up. I remember I'm gonna reference school again. When I was back in school, I'm the type of person that had to go into the classroom physically and draw there to learn more. Some people can take all of their work home, do really, really great work, and then bring it back to school the next day. So whatever you need to do it. So one of the things that I do that I try to help aspiring artists with is my Creature Design Workshop Discord. So it's a bustling community. People are joining by the dozens every single day. We just surpassed 2,000 members on our Discord, and it's really exciting to see. Everybody's helping each other, posting reference images, giving critiques, posting their personal work, their doodles that they're doing. It's just really inspiring stuff. If you're interested in joining the Discord, just check out the pinned comment below with links to my Creature Design Workshop Discord and also the workshop that I'm holding. Now, one of the exciting things about my workshop is that during the summer months, August and September, I hold a 25% discount on it. So check out the links in not only the description below, but also the pinned comment so you can get to that quickly. And again, I'm just going to summarize what I talked about today. Okay, staying motivated in your journey is all about perseverance. It's about self-belief. It's about pushing forward. When going gets tough, you got to believe in yourself, even when you don't feel like you're good enough. Okay, just ignore the likes. That should not be an indicator that you're good, bad, or whatever. It's about setting goals, trying new things, seeking inspiration, and then above all, celebrating your successes. Treat yourself. So I want to thank everybody for watching this. I hope you found this style of video helpful. I know it's a little different from my hands-on teaching videos, but I do plan on doing more of this stuff too. If you have any tips for staying motivated in your drawing journey, let me know in the comments below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for more art-related content. And until next time, keep creating. See you later.